I went to see Robin Hood a few days ago, the new Robin Hood, the one with Taron Egerton. He's the actor from Kingsman, The Secret Service. Jamie Foxx is in it too. Now I'll say first of all that it is much better than the Russell Crowe one that came out a few years ago. It was directed by Ridley Scott, that was like Gladiator in the Woods. It had the name Robin in it at one point. I think that was the only thing that had to do with Robin Hood. This film's a lot more like Robin Hood. It's a lot more like the original story. It's updated a little bit. It's still set in the past, but the cities look like they're futuristic, kind of like our cities if we never worked out how to do steam-powered engines or how to use electricity. But it does pretty much follow a similar tale. He goes off to fight in the Crusades and he's believed to be dead, and then he comes back and finds out that his home has kind of been destroyed and everything's being run by the Sheriff of Nottingham, his ultimate villain. So he decides to wear a hood and fire a bow and arrow, rob from the rich to give to the poor, that sort of thing. Here it's a little bit different. He wants to rob from the rich, but it's more about destabilizing the power structure that Nottingham is based on, which is very corrupt, and we don't quite know what they're up to until the end of the movie, but it is a big secret that is revealed, and when it is revealed, it's not disappointing particularly. So Robin was in love with Marion before he left, and when he came back she's now seeing someone else because she thought that he was dead. But it's okay because he has Jamie Foxx to hang around with, and Jamie Foxx is one of his enemies during the Crusades who decides to befriend him for a reason I will not reveal because it's pretty good. I thought that the reason those two characters got together was pretty good. It was well done, and they are probably the best thing about this movie, their relationship with each other and the two actors, Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx. Taron Egerton was great in Kingsman. He's very charismatic and he's very likeable and he's very charming, and he pretty much does the same thing here, and I have no complaints about that. Jamie Foxx is Jamie Foxx. He's always pretty good, except for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and here he plays a sort of mixture between Morgan Freeman's character in Prince of Thieves and the Little John character. He's the more experienced, the better fighter, the better bowman, and he teaches Taron Egerton how to do it because, for reasons again I won't say, he's not able to do it himself. But those two kind of work together and they're pulling off robberies and things like that. But there is an extra, like an added element where Taron Egerton has to become kind of a Bruce Wayne character where he returns home, people think he's dead, and he becomes, at least in public to other people, a kind of a spoiled rich brat who is pretending to be on the side of the villain so that he can get in close with them and find out what their plans are and find out where the gold is so he can steal it later and things like that. So it has a lot of great scenes where he has to kind of pretend to be an asshole to his friends and loved ones, and he can't tell them why he's doing it, so it's kind of hard to watch, but in a good way. It's a good extra bit of drama that I really liked in the film. That being said, this is an action film and there are a lot of action sequences in it, and they are pretty good. There's some good, effects with the bow and arrow and things like that, but it gets a wee bit repetitive after a while because once Taron Egerton learns how to use his bow properly from Jamie Foxx, he is never really challenged. There's not a lot of characters in the movie who can challenge him physically, so he's kind of unstoppable, and it's not as interesting as if he was a bit more of a vulnerable hero, which is always the best kind of hero. That's why Daniel Craig's the best Bond. And Ben Mendelsohn's here as well. You probably remember him from Rogue One. He played Orson Krennic. He was the villain in Ready Player One. He's great at playing villainous characters. He's kind of got a reputation for playing that kind of character for good reason. He is quite good at it. And although this Sheriff of Nottingham is nowhere near as good as the Alan Rickman one, because everyone loves the Alan Rickman one, he does have a bit to do here, nothing too new. He gets a lot of good sort of shouty scenes and threatening scenes and things like that, and he has a really good scene at the end where he's threatening Jamie Foxx, and I won't give away what he says to him, but it's pretty harsh and it's a pretty good one, and it's the kind of threat I've never really heard before in a movie. Maybe it has been out there, but I've just never heard it. Maid Marian in this film is very good. She's very beautiful. The actress playing her's name is Eve Hewson. I think she's Bono's daughter. But she's pretty good in this. I could have used a little bit more development of her and Robin's relationship before he gets sent off to war. Them two get together right at the beginning of the movie, and I could have used a lot more of their relationship and why they grow to love each other, as opposed to what seems like a very instant attraction that isn't really developed because there's kind of a voiceover during the scenes they're together. Now, I really like films where the main character is believed to have been dead and then they come back in secret to right their wrongs and get revenge and things like that. My favourite version of that is the Count of Monte Cristo, the version with Jim Caviezel in it that came out in the early 2000s. I think it's a very underappreciated film and a really good film, and I thought that they were going to do the same sort of thing here because he is believed to be dead at the start of the film. And there is a little bit of that, but I would have liked a lot more. I thought they could have pushed it a bit further in regards to his relationship with Marion. I thought that if she had thought he was dead for a long time and then he came back as this Hood character and maybe she grew to care for this Hood character, sort of the way that Mary Jane does with Spider-Man, you know, where she like kind of has this attraction to him but doesn't know who he is. I thought they could have done something like that, and then at the end maybe reveal that, oh, it's the man you always loved all along. I thought that would have been a better version of doing things. This film's also being compared a lot to the King Arthur film that came out last year, King Arthur Legend of the Sword, and this film has one thing that that film didn't. Now I'll say that I did like that film. I thought that the really bad reviews and the really poor box office performance didn't really make a lot of sense. It was a fine film. It was enjoyable. I liked it. I like most of Guy Ritchie's films, and I thought he did a good job with that film. But the one thing I didn't like about it is the one thing I really like about this, and that's the main character, the main actor. Because that time it was Charlie Hunnam, and Charlie Hunnam is not a good actor. I thought that him playing King Arthur, he's going to be doing an English accent, so maybe it's just the fact that he has an atrocious American accent is the reason that I didn't like him in other things. But now he has a terrible English accent too, that's like a mix of English and American, and somehow he's melded the two together into some kind of weird thing. But point is, the man is a charisma vacuum. He's a black hole. There's nothing there to like. Whereas Taron Egerton is very likable and he is very charming. So I can handle a film that maybe might not be a 10 out of 10 as long as he's in the lead role. I was just reading there that the director of this film, Otto Bathurst, this is his first ever feature film debut, and as far as feature debuts go, I thought it was pretty good. He's done a lot of TV work, but I could see him getting more work after this film. When I think about whether I should recommend this film for people to watch, I think that I can. I think that people should go and see it, especially if you like fun, action, adventure movies. This is that kind of film. It's not particularly deep. There's not a lot going on under the surface, but what is there is fun. I liked it. My mum went to see it and she liked it. If I were to give this film a rating, I'd probably give it a B-. For what it was well made, it was well acted, it looked very nice. There were some nice shots in it, the action's fine. There is a scene in it where music sounded exactly like the music from The Dark Knight, the opening of The Dark Knight during the bank heist scene. That the music that plays during that, it sounded exactly like that. And the guy doing this music was not Hans Zimmer, so I don't know, someone might want to look into that one. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, a video review, a video of any kind on YouTube. And it's something I've been thinking about for a while because I do watch a lot of reviewers on YouTube, and it's something I've always kind of wanted to try, and I'm thinking of taking it up as a hobby. I did this one as a little experiment, see what it was like, see if I enjoyed it, see if I could maybe think about doing it again before I maybe buy some lights and maybe make the video look a bit better, get a better background and things like that. It is surprisingly difficult being alone and talking to a camera like there's somebody there, but I'm getting used to it. So I'm sorry if things are a wee bit rough in the beginning of this. So if I like how this turns out, I will probably make another video, so keep a lookout for that one. But if you did like the review, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Please comment down below if you saw Robin Hood, tell me what you thought about it. If you had a different opinion to what I thought, you can put it down in the comments. If you have an extra point that you'd like to make, write in the comments as well. Yeah, so that's everything. I'll see you next time.